Back again for part 4. I think today we're going to work on this gnome. I've been thinking about it. Might do a little pointillism around the house and maybe just some hair for his beard and mustache and not much shading in there. Maybe use some light and burn, some dark burnt lines through there. But we'll get started. This is where we left off. We had our little gnome on there. I think we burn a couple flowers on this side, so we'll work on finishing up this gnome. See if we want to add something else around it. So I'm going to start with somewhere around maybe 4.5. We're going to add some little lines and hair in here, the mustache.
Yeah, let's leave those things something outside. Hi, Neil.
And we'll see if we how dark it is. That's hardly dark at all. So we're going to go up to 5. And it's always better to start light. That way you can darken it up if you want to. And I'm just going to put some lines in here. And as I move faster, they'll get lighter down here. And you can just keep going over the same spot. Leave a little unburnt hairs in there. And you could even go this way. If you hit it and move fast, it'll leave a dark line to light line.
Hi, Adam.
And then I'm just going to keep going over this to make it darker up under his nose. And then leave the hair separation down in here. And you can add some little dark highlights in here just by going back and forth over it. Now we'll do it over here. So the point where I want the darker, I'm going to put my point in there and then I'm going to pull it down and move faster and it gets lighter. And like I said, things don't have to be the same on both sides. So I want it darker under the nose. I'm going to just make little short jab lines in there.
Neil asked, do you use very much pressure or do you just turn up the heat?
I'm pushing now. Yeah, there's some pressure. I can feel myself getting into the wood. The bad part about that sometimes is if you hit a grain line, the grain line takes you where it wants to take you. So lighter touch sometimes better, but if I'm writing in script, I crank the heat up big time just so I can write faster, almost like holding a pen. So you get this nice little contrast in here, and you can still make this darker. Remember, hold and then pull it down. And just keep going back over it, and it'll just keep getting darker to lighter. Same thing with these hair down here. Because I want this mustache to show up, I am going to make it really darker right by the mustache. And then fade it to light. So I'm really holding it right there. And I am putting pressure.
Sorry, guys.
I say pressure. I'm relieving my pressure as I get down where I want it lighter. So yeah, pressure up here to make it darker.
Stop, buddy.
We got a visitor. He wants in the video.
Say hi, Milo. There you go. Hello. Yeah, he's very needy but very loving.
So you got your mustache on the inside here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want it darker under there. So I'm making short little lines at first, just because I want it darker. I want it to burn darker. Now I'm going to come in and make them go down. Same thing here. You might want some dark edges on there. So now you can burn up, and then your lightness is going to meet in the middle. This is a way to do it where you're not really shading. You're sitting there coloring it in. Some people could, I guess you could do it on your carvings if you're doing animal hair or things like that. So normally it's kind of hard reaching across yourself. You don't have much to hold on to. Usually I'll turn it upside down. Or we'll go sideways because I want to go dark. I want it darker under the mustache.
Anyway.
And darker over here so we can separate the mustache from the hair. And one thing I didn't do, which I would recommend doing, is erase these pencil lines. Which we didn't do that last week. But since we're burning, not leaving much of the knife showing, it won't hurt it a whole lot here. So we're going to put some dark hair in here and come up. And I want to leave a little separation in there where his hair is kind of twisted around. So now I'm just going to lightly go. Now there's hardly much pressure. But if I want to extend these dark lines down, I'm going to go in there and let the burner just set there a second. So now we got him some hair in there. So when I said pointillism, I'm going to go back to 4 because I'm not sure how dark this is going to burn. But I know I want it dark here over on the edge. So I just start putting dots in there. And then I'll separate the dots further out just to see what it's going to look like. Then I'll come in. Since I want that distinguished line on the side of his hat, which should be darker because it's supposedly rounding, the front here is going to be lighter because if the light's in front of you, that's where it's hitting. So I will do it over here too. And I'm just tapping it. And if I want it darker, I'll slow down and hold the burner there. So I really don't have to change my heat if I find it that I like that color of darkness. If I want.
And you're still on number 4.
Yes, still on number 4. So now I'm starting to separate my dots a little bit. And out here I'm really going to separate them, but I can come back in and make them darker. So it's really hard to make them lighter, which means you got to go out and sand it off. You got to get the sandpaper out, and then usually you kind of sand what you've already don't want to sand away because it's in the way now. So it's okay to go, look, I'm really separating these out here. And I may leave it like that, or I'll come back in and I'll look for spots that I'm missed, seem like they're missed. Or maybe I want it darker right here where this little crease is in his hat, and we'll run that out a little bit. And then I'll come in and start fading it. Well, I call it faded. It's kind of going from light to dark or dark to light. And like I said, this is something you can just play around with and find your own style. And then this is going to be dark because this is up under a fold. So we're really going to let the burner just set there. And then I'm going to start going quicker because I don't want it to burn as dark, so I'm tapping it. But I'm also moving it around. And then your light, since this is a fold and this is still round, is still going to be just a hair darker, but we want this to show up. So this is kind of
That's cool, Adam.
I don't know what you call it, but it's probably not a real drawing feature, but we're going to leave it light right there just so it shows up. But we're going to darken this line up. But see how I'm going darker up here and lighter down here? Because I want that fold to show. So I'm going to leave that in there. And then I'm just going to start tapping this in here. And then I'm going to go back in and see if there's any little spots I missed. I'll look and I'll just barely touch it like that. Now we're going to come down. So we got a little fold here. And like I said, this is going to be lighter through here. You can even make it squiggly. So a little bit of darkness here, nothing like under here because that is our dark part. where the fold of the hat came over it. And you know, this is just caricature. This is cartooning, however you want to say it. I'm going to say no rules apply. I mean, if you don't think it looks right, then, you know, you can change it. If you think it looks okay, then I would go with it. I'm just trying to give you my version of it, I suppose. It never means it's the only version. There's many ways to do this. So you determine, do you want this ball to be a lighter color, or do you want it to really look round? Then, you know, we're going to come in here and you're really going to go around these edges to make this look round, but you're going to leave it a little bit lighter in the center. So we're going to make this look like it's a ball. This hat, those are always tough because they're usually white. So I'll tell you, we'll just spread out some dots in here. And then we'll come in and darken it in a minute. And we got our little letter there, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. So now I'm going to come in here, and I think they'll probably be a little bit darker right around here where the nose is popping out, forcing that, you know, hat back a little bit, or I guess the cotton brim. I don't know what you call it on a gnome. I don't personally know one to ask, so you know, this is probably something you would want to ask Patrick Pelkey. He seems to have the answer to everything. And it usually has bacon in it, but no, Patrick's a wonderful resource of information. Some of it's useless, but you know what? He's still a good guy to tap. We call him our step uncle. So there, I'm going to leave it like, I kind of like that lighter right above its nose because its nose is pushing that up. A little bit darker, not much here. You know, and I put a little lip right here. I don't know if a gnome shows a lip or not, but this one does. So I think that's something to work on right now. Because I'm going to think about this shirt. I think I'm going to put something in the middle here, you know. Maybe Patrick for president or something like that. I don't know. But we'll end this. I know we're keeping them short and sweet, and I hope you guys enjoy them and maybe get some wood out and do a little practicing of your own. But we will work on his shoes, and we'll finish this gnome next week. I'm going to think about putting something in. I don't know, maybe I'll put a big H in there for Helvie or something. But I have Helvie here. You know, you can do too much of the same thing, so I don't know, maybe a Superman logo or Batman on there. Something funny, you know, you think of something funny. So maybe you guys can think of something and put them in the comments. And we can burn it on there.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for today. And until we'll see you next week.
Next Sunday. Yeah. And then Saturday we'll be with.
Oh, yeah. If you guys want to see how a knife is made, tune in to the International Woodcarvers Association at 3
Zoom
o'clock.
meeting at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Zoom meeting on our page. Blake puts in the phone number, or I don't know how it works, but you type in that number and you get connected into the Zoom meeting.
All you need is a Zoom app.
So be there or be known.
See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.